Okay, welcome back to another edition of Real BatDude Reacts. We are continuing our reaction to Amber Heard's testimony. My first through 7 videos, I thought it was a little bit of a morning session and some of the afternoon session, but it wasn't the case. My first 1 through 7 videos, this is number 8, were all from her morning testimony. They have now gone to lunch, and now it's the afternoon testimony. So let's get into it. The jury is just coming in, and let's go. Let's go. Welcome to everyone. Hope you enjoy the video.
All right, thank you. All right, maybe seated. Your next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, can you bring up Defendants Exhibit 236, which has already been admitted?
Thank you.
Oh my God, you just had lunch and you're acting all nervous. I understand being a witness.
Amber, I'm jumping back to the Boston plane incident just for a moment.
Oh, really?
We had a lot of different texts and a lot of exchange, but I just wanted to point out to you this.
The Boston plane incident was back in May of 2014. Just before lunch break, they were already up to about October, November of 2014. And mind you, about 4 months from then, she'll be getting married. But now let's go back. The attorney wants to go from September, October, now all the way back to May again.
Text messages from, this is from Mr. Depp to you, correct?
Yes, it
And
is.
this is on 5/25, the day after the Boston plane incident?
That's correct.
All right, and he is saying, once again, I find myself in a place of shame and regret. Of course, I am sorry. I really don't know why or what happened, but I will never do it again. I want to get better for you and for me. I must. My illness somehow crept up and grabbed me. I can't do it again. I can't live like that again. I know you can't either. And I will for both of us, starting today. I love you. Again, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I love you and feel so bad for letting you down. Do you see that?
I do.
And was that the message that you testified to, that he gave you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to jump back to where we left off. We're up in January of 2015. Danish Girl, you're filming in London, is that correct?
Danish Girl.
Yes, that would have been January 2015.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
we heard some testimony from Isaac Baruch earlier.
So let's just review and let me read to you a nasty text message from May of 2014. May. Oh, I'm sorry, my dear, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, that's a text message. Okay, now let's go to January 2015. What?
About a telephone call that you had with Mr. Depp. Do you recall that call?
I do.
Can you please tell the jury and remember to tell them what Mr. Depp was saying on that call? And you can give the back. I didn't mean to cut you off on the context. Go ahead.
Is it okay to... The nature of the conversation was
Yes.
pleasant. Friendly, fine,
Why is everything
normal. And then Johnny stopped making sense with this. Like, you know, he'd start a sentence and then trail off and act confused when
Like
I
you?
would be confused. And that pattern kind of increased pretty dramatically in a short amount of time. And I was in a hotel room in London speaking to him in Los Angeles, and the phone what I assumed cut off. I thought it was a connection issue. And I remember getting out of bed and walking into the bathroom to get something, and I was redialing him. And in the span of that short amount of time we had been disconnected, it was minutes.
Are we going to analyze every phone call?
I called him back thinking the phone had been disconnected, and he answered and he said, how could you tell me that? How could you say that to me? Who the fuck is he? Who the fuck is he? And he asked me that a few times, and I was so confused. I didn't understand what he was talking about.
No.
I expressed that to him.
You had to wait till after you got married to sneak James Franco upstairs in your elevator. At this point, you don't know what he's talking about.
The one in New York that you're fucking. And it was...
his language is just so shocking to me. You act like an innocent babe. I mean, come on. Is every swear word to you? You're gonna be hypersensitive?
It was such a bizarre conversation because it had already started to feel like he was not making... It was almost as if he was confused by what sentence he had started by the time he got to the end of it. And then all of a sudden he tells me that I have just told him that I had a boyfriend or a lover in New York, and he's accusing me of having just told him about it.
Uh-huh.
Which was crazy.
He's cray cray.
To me,
I would never cheat. Like sneaking James Franco up in an elevator while you're still married.
Not only was that not accurate, I would never have communicated with him like that. More or less called him on the phone to do it and then call him back and wonder what the connection issue was. It was just the most bizarre thing. But he was so worked up,
you see the attorney in back?
Accusing me of having
She's just
had
waiting.
this conversation with him.
She's
Eventually the line drops
to object.
out, and I spoke to the person who picked up the phone.
Okay. And how did that end?
Man, her fingers,
I no longer spoke
are ready.
to
Objection.
Johnny. I probably can't say what the person told me.
Are we talking about Isaac Baruch?
Yes.
Okay. So without saying what he said, you had a brief conversation with Mr. Baruch, and that was the end of the call?
I did. It was my understanding Johnny was passed
Objection,
out.
hearsay.
Okay.
Sustain.
She's on it.
All right. January 25, 2015, Tokyo. Please tell, it's the premiere of Mordecai, correct? Did you accompany Mr. Depp to Tokyo for the premiere of Mordecai?
I did.
Wait, hold on. What do I do with my stuff? When did they say it? Are we in January now? Cancel. When can we go back? Thank you. Premiere. I've never heard this. Mordecai? M-O-R-T. Eight. Premiere of Mordecai movie with Johnny Depp. January 23rd, 2015. Morddeca. I've never heard of the movie. Maybe I'm just an old boomer or something, but okay. So January 23rd, 2015. She's at the premiere of Mordecai. Let's go.
Please tell the jury about that trip.
Well, I had just started to pick out the wedding dress right before.
Because after all the shit you went through that you testified in the morning session, you had it up to here with him. I'm still picking out the wedding dress. I'm still going to get married. She still wants that payday because she's going to marry him and divorce his ass just as quick. But I digress.
For that trip.
They're 1 month away from marriage.
And plans were moving for us to get married shortly after this trip. So we took this trip to promote his movie. I went with him. We got in an argument in the hotel room.
Oh, of course.
And I said, I don't remember what I said to him, but I said something snotty to him that provoked him.
No, Amber? Angel Amber said something snotty to him? No.
Provoked him, and when I walked into the hallway, he grabbed me by the arm and slammed me up against the hallway wall, and I kind of struggled with him, tried to push him off of me, and I managed to get out of his grasp enough to take a few steps, and I kind of curved around and went into the closet. And by the time I made it into the closet, he had me by the hair, and what felt like he was just wailing on me, but in a really sloppy way, like hitting the back of my head, and kind of wrestled me down to the floor. I mean, it felt to me like I didn't even have a fair shot because I wasn't facing him or looking at him. I was walking away from him. Or else, I would have at this point even I would have tried to defend myself more, but I didn't. I kind of felt like it didn't see it coming, and he just wrestled me down to the ground. And I remember he was screaming.
But yet a month from now, you're still gonna marry him. If every single story you tell is the truth, the amount of abuse you took, you were just kept thinking to yourself, didn't you? Oh, I'm going to cash in. I'm going to cash. I just take every once in a while, just like in the movie Goodfellas. Every once in a while, you just got to take a beating. And then you cash in. If any of her testimony is true.
At me. I mean, like, really screaming loud.
Still gets married.
And what I remember of that is trying to get up and him kind of wrestling me back down, and at one point put his knee on my back. It was kind of like kneeling on my back. And I just had this like struggle with him. And I look at him, and he's still got his glasses on.
She's acting. She's building up emotions.
I just remember looking at him and thinking that was so...
She's getting ready to...
He just looked like he hadn't been through anything. He still had his glasses on, sunglasses.
She's getting ready
screaming at
me
cry. That he hated me. That it was over. He didn't want to marry me. He was disgusted. He was disgusted. He made this mistake. It was a big mistake. And everyone hated me. And I remember crying.
Why didn't you whip up your phone and record the conversation and record everything else?
Just, more than anything, I was heartbroken.
You're on the ground. His knees.
Serious. I thought maybe God, he doesn't love me. Maybe.
You're laying on the ground. He's got his knee on your back. You might as well just whip out the phone and start recording it. And she says, I remember at that moment, his knee is in my back. Maybe he doesn't love me. I think any rational person, any woman in any relationship, who, if their significant other has bashing them in the back of the head, wrestled you to the ground, and has got your knee in the middle of your back, might be a good indication that they kind of don't love you.
Maybe he really feels this way. Oh, broke my heart.
Broke your heart.
Broke my heart. I wanted to marry him so bad. I
wanted to cash in.
This is
I mean,
the man
I loved him.
You know, yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him and what he
Objection,
was
Your
saying.
Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled.
I was looking for the payday. I mean, my wedding day.
Just as bad as anything else. I just remember that he left me on the closet floor.
I remember when he hit me in the back of my head. Instead of seeing stars, I was seeing dollar bills float down from the sky.
And as embarrassing as it is to say,
Act, baby, act. Come on. Give us the tears.
I
Give us
went
the
up
tears.
to him at some point. I don't know how much time had passed. He was sitting at the piano in the living room of the hotel room that we had.
Come on. Well up. Come on. There you go. Act, baby. Act, baby.
I know it may be hard to understand.
Act, baby.
It's hard for me to hear myself say, but I just wanted it to stop. I wanted things to just be okay.
I just wanted to.
And I just sat next to him on the piano, and I just leaned my head on his shoulder, and of course I was mad, and felt it was horrible what he'd done. But on the other hand, I wanted us to be okay.
Uh-huh.
I
I'm angel. I'm an angel. I'm an innocent angel.
could just put I could put the physical stuff in a box, and I just kept going back on
in a box, like a
how much I love
like
this
a bank
person.
box, like a bank box, like, a cash deposit box. I mean, a hope chest box. That's what I mean.
So just
And I just wanted the money. I mean, love.
I went to the premiere with him and
I wanted to.
walked a red carpet with him, and I remember in the car checking my phone obsessively for pictures because my dress was backless. Of all times to have a backless dress. And then I was just looking at my...
Okay, hold on. I need my glasses for this. Hold on. So, what did I say? How is that movie spelled? Mordecai. Oh, come on. I'm looking for my... There it is. Mordecai. Okay, we're going to go to a new window for me. Premiere of MORTDECAI runway or photos. Premiere photos. She images of Mordecai premiere. Premiere images of premiere Mordecai premiere. All right, so she had a backless dress. Where? This thing? Where? Okay, premiere of Mordecai premiere photos. Amber Heard backless dress. Okay, so this is the one. Giant. Okay. Amber. Okay, here. Tokyo premiere. Is that she say she were in Tokyo? Let's see. Backless dress. I assume they're in Tokyo? Can we... Okay, we don't need other stuff. So can we, So, I'm not seeing... Is that her? That's not her. That's not her. This is other stuff. This is Pinterest. So, but that's her here. Let me go back. Back. Block. Come on. So, is there any... Here we go. Here's another one. Can we zoom in? Premiere Mordecai. Okay, backless dress, backless dress. Come on, stop. No, stop. I mean, that's pretty telling right there. She was obsessed, right? She's obsessed. I mean, you'd think there's a mark there. I mean, something. I don't know. I don't know. Let's continue.
I was looking at pictures. I was on the red carpet. It was surreal because I was like checking for bruises and making sure that nothing, like there would be no marks on me, and
there weren't.
Like this other thing on this red carpet when it was just. It was not like that. It's embarrassing. You know, it's hard to. I'm sure it's hard to.
Believe?
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
I'm going to take you to February, the next month, 2015.
When you got married.
To your wedding. Can you please tell the jury about your wedding?
So we get married in Los Angeles. I get a sense that
he still doesn't love me.
Wedding.
I get a sense that it's my wedding day. Maybe he loves me? Maybe I finally figured out he loves me. Today's the day. It's my wedding day. I figured out, I think he loves me.
Running around Los Angeles, I was getting married that day, and I remember running around getting with therapy.
Which by,
the
witnesses of Johnny Depp state that everyone was surprised about this wedding date because it got pushed up so fast because I have a very strong feeling that you, Amber Heard, wanted to push the trial up. You wanted to get married for some reason. And a lot of people were so surprised to find out that you're getting married right away. Why? Why? Because you wanted it that way. You were starting to set a plan, I believe. I can't prove. To start a plan. Okay, I'm going to push this marriage up. Why? Got him. And I'm going to divorce him and take him for as much as I can.
And Johnny and I met at the penthouses downtown, and I wore a white dress and a veil and bobby pinned in my hair. And I walked out of that penthouse. I met with Johnny in the hallway, and I thought he looked so handsome.
And he gave me a hello punch.
He seemed happy.
We met up in the hallway, and he kneed me in my groin. That's when I knew he really loved me and wanted to marry me on my marriage day. My wedding day.
And I felt we were making the right decision. I was so looking forward to having this, I thought, we'd get married and we'd have stability, safety. So
yeah, you wanted stability. You wanted a paycheck. He has stability. You don't.
We get in the car, we get into actually Johnny's car, and for the second time since I've known Johnny, he drove drove us in his truck. It was weird being in the car with him alone. You know, we didn't have that. And we drove to his mom's house, and a justice of the peace arrived, looking kind of surprised. And she married us in the living room of his mother's house, Betty Sue, with our families together. My best friend, my mom, his mom.
And you loved him so much that you filed for a divorce a day after his mother died, you cruel, heartless woman.
We ate food with the kids. They were there. And we had a wonderful evening. And then got up and got on the plane either the next morning or the day after and flew to Johnny's Island. And we had what we had planned for the better, we had planned for the better part of a year or so, maybe 8 months, for this 3-day wedding on his island with our close friends, about 12 people, maybe 15 people.
Now I just kept remembering, this island going to be my island.
Little houses built, like not tents, but not houses, these little, for the guests. We had them built and designed on the island, and we had people come out, and it was magic. I was marrying the love of my life. It was complicated. But I thought it was the love of my life. And we had our friends and family out, and we had this 3-day event. The first night of which was supposed to be he and I separate with our relative parties. So me with the bridal party and him with his fellas. The bridal party, we had planned to do a cuddle puddle, have mushrooms and drink wine and, have our own girl party separate. And then the next day have the wedding festivities. We were going to be married around sunset and on this beach, not the beach that Johnny had named for me, although I think we originally planned on having the ceremony on that beach, but it was changed at some point to the other beach, and we walked down the beach aisle, and said our vows, and the sunset behind us, and we took pictures with our family.
We said our vowels. A-E-I-O-U.
We shot the bird, meaning the middle finger, up at the paparazzi helicopter circling, or plane circling around us while we were on the altar. And we danced and celebrated.
And then we flipped each other off.
And then I left the island because I had to go work.
Yeah.
When you say you left,
You got married on an island, and you immediately left. Right after the I-do's.
left the island, you had to go to work. What were you working on that required that?
I was filming the Danish Girl in London, which is the film that I had been in London for in January when Johnny was hallucinating on the phone with me. I was there doing kind of prep.
There's no other way to say
film.
that sentence. It had to be Johnny was hallucinating.
What, if any, film was Mr. Depp going to at that point?
Well, the plan, why we did the wedding when we did it, is because he had always had this commitment to do Pirates 5. And he was going to shoot that in Australia, and I was going to shoot the Danish Girl. And I started the Danish Girl in early February, and he was going to fly out mid-February to Australia. So his movie was going to take the majority of the year, meaning until August. So maybe longer. So the plan was to do it when we did it so that we didn't have to wait until the fall of the following year. So shortly after.
Maybe you should have waited.
I left. Johnny returned to Los Angeles and then flew from Los Angeles on to Australia to shoot P5, Pirates 5, excuse me.
Okay. And what was the plan?
Excuse me, jury. You're so stupid you didn't know what I meant.
For you when you finished with Danish Girl?
The plan was always for me to wrap on my movie and then come and join him in Australia, where he was filming P5, Pirates 5.
Okay, and when approximately was that?
That was March 3rd.
March 3rd that you wrapped, that you finished with Danish Girl?
I believe.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm like. Hold on. How many stars did the Danish Girl receive? Nah, that can't be it. I don't remember this movie. The Danish Girl. Okay. This guy from the Wizards movie. Okay. Who starred in the Danish Girl? I don't know anything about this movie. Danish Girl, a film, one of the first known recipients of the sex what? How many Rotten Tomatoes did this movie get? This movie did that well. I can't imagine how many doesn't matter. Shocking she was in that movie.
I can't recall the exact date, but I believe it was around that time, yes.
Okay. And then tell the jury, where did you fly to get to Australia? How long of a turnaround was it for you to get to Australia?
It was about 24-hour. I think it's about 24 hours. I could be mistaken on the exact amount of time, but
no one
I remember
really cares.
It's quite a distance from London. I was filming in London. He was filming in Australia. Effectively, you have to fly 12 hours, stop, get on a different plane and fly, I think, around the same amount of time, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So when you arrived, before you finished wrapping with Danish Girl and were heading out shortly before, what, if any, communications did you and Mr. Depp have?
Well, at first it was great. Even though we were separate, it was so hard to leave right after you get married, especially considering that in Johnny and I's relationship, it was always so much worse when I went away to work. That's when problems started. So that was hard, but we communicated pretty consistently, and it was positive until it started to change.
She's ready in the background.
I got the sense that he thought I was sleeping with the director, and then it was with the actor I was filming with.
Who was the actor you were filming with?
Eddie Redmayne.
Okay.
I was not. Not that it mattered, but, you know, I could do my best to field the accusations, and then they would kind of subside, and I thought things were okay. And one day, right before I'm supposed to fly to Australia, he, I think it was the night before I was supposed to leave to go to Australia, he calls my hotel room, apparently. I had a sense that the phone was ringing. I think I was in the shower at the time, but not much time had passed, and I get a knock on the door, and it was someone from the hotel that I was staying at. The hotel staff had been sent up to the room because Johnny...
Objection calls for hearsay and speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
So don't tell what the staff said. What happened next?
Then I start communicating with Johnny.
And when you say started, I mean, was he on the phone? Did you call him? What happened here?
He called the room and then my cell phone, and then once I was on the cell phone, he was accusing me of not being in my room, so he called the room, and I had to prove that I was in the room because, I don't know, by answering the phone. And we had a lengthy kind of circular conversation about where I was and why I didn't answer the phone, why I didn't answer the phone immediately. He didn't sound like he was connected to reality. It just didn't seem like, to me, it seemed like a previous pattern. I was unsure what to make of it because he wasn't right in front of me, but he was accusing me of what it seemed like is having, an affair or a reason to not be in the room that I got a sense from him was, cheating or
This is somewhere
why I wasn't.
This is somewhere in late February, maybe March. She's describing. I'm guessing.
Answering the phone, and hence why I got the knock on the door.
Okay.
That was right before I left.
So as before you headed to Australia, what, if any, requests did you make of Mr. Depp for him to get you MDMA?
That's ridiculous.
Why is that ridiculous?
Because
I don't do drugs, liar. Because I just don't drink that much, liar.
I would never, since that time I learned my lesson the hard way on the plane to Russia, I would never do MDMA with him.
Never.
That's, I'm asking for a problem in that case. Like that, I would never do that.
Okay. So you flew to Australia.
Okay. So we're going to stop right here. Hold on a second. And we're going to wrap up this. This is video, 8, I think? And, I think this is video 8. Afternoon session. And, because things are going to get spicy here. The Australia incident, where she cuts off Johnny's finger. Johnny accuses her of cutting off the finger. She's going to testify he did it. So, anyways, thank you guys so much. If you like any of the content here, please do the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And let's see you on video number 9. Video number 9. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to her testimony. So thank you all. Love you. See you later.